Ce faci, mă? Rupe-o ca lumea, da.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Pizza Steve here with a Warframe build of the century. Since you clicked on this video, you most likely know who GOJO is and you don't know what to do with your life now that you won't see him for the next 2.5 years. Well, worry not my virtual stranger friend, I have the solution for you that will get you through this dark time. I present to you the GOJO SATORU build, or the way I like to call it, the Nah I'd Win build. It has all of GOJO's fundamental abilities like Limitless, Red, Blue, Purple and of course Domain Expansion. But since you are this far into the video, you already know what this build can do, so let's hop into the build. Alright, let's get into the build. So, we're using 5 Archon shards in order to replace flow and preparation, because I don't really like spamming energy pizzas every time I need energy. And as for Limbo's abilities, we have his passive, which will be our main thing that will allow us to not get hit and that will replenish our energy. We have Pull to serve as blue subsumed from mag. We have Stasis, so we can stun any enemy within our quote-unquote domain. We have the domain itself and Rift Surge, which will serve as our main damage tool. Let's look into the mods. So as we can see, we have Corrosive Projection to make enemies a bit less tankier. We have Prime Surefooted so that we don't get killed by some random Eximus units. We have Intensify Augur Secrets and Blind Rage in order to stack more damage for Rift Surge. We have Stretch and Augur Reach to make the Cataclysm a lot bigger, Natural Talent for the casting speed, and Catalyzing Shields for the shield gating, as this will be our main mean of survivability. Since we will be rocking 3 Augur mods, that's how we replenish our shields, since we don't use Brief Respite. And Rift Torrent, which will deal an extra 30 damage for each enemy affected by Rift Surge while in the Rift. And the crazy thing is that this stacks with ability strength. As you see here, from 30% we have 75, which is gonna be a lot. Okay, as for our weapons, we're gonna be using a river mod, but you do not have to. You can just replace this one with Infected Clip, it will work just fine. We have Critical Delay for the crit chance. You can replace this one with Point Strike if you do not want the fire rate. We have Amalgam Serration for the damage and sprint speed. Galvanized Aptitude for the status chance and the direct damage type per status type affecting the target. Galvanized Chamber for the multi-shot, Rhyme Rounds for the cold and status in order to form viral, Galvanized Scope for more crit, and Hammer Shot for crit damage and status chance. Of course, we'll be running Primary Merciless because this works best for this exact weapon. Now, you've seen that I'm modded for crit, but you do not have to mod for crit. You can mod for whatever you like, but as long as you have viral and some solid damage, it will one-shot anyway with this build, so it does not matter at all. As for the Grimoire, this is gonna be our Hollow Purple. You see that I have secondary dexterity because we're gonna be getting a lot of melee kills to stack this one up. We use Magnum Force Horn Strike for damage, Sure Shot for status, Jolt for electricity and status chance, and Heated Charge. You can use the normal version, it works just fine, in order to add hit and make radiation. Also, our third Augur mod, Augur Pact for more damage, and a Bane. Of course, we also have the Jahu Canticle, which will reduce enemy armor and shields by 5%. Now, don't get the wrong idea. This will never armor strip, because getting kills with a Grimoire is basically borderline impossible. But paired with corrosive projection and this build, the Grimoire can do enough to kill the enemies with a radial attack, because the Grimoire barely does any damage on its own, so we're gonna have to help it any way we can. For our melee, in order to represent Gojo's moves, we're also gonna need some hands. So, we're gonna use the Brutal Tide stance, we're gonna use a Bane mod, damage with Prime Pressure Point, or you can use the normal version, it works just fine once again. Prime Fury for attack speed, Vicious Frost for cold, Whipping Wounds for status chance, Sacrificial Steel for crit, Fever Strike for toxin, and you can just place, instead of this Raven, you can just use hit, it works just fine. Alright, now to show off this build before we end the video, you just use your domain, you pull enemies with blue, you freeze time, you use your Rift Surge, and you let one red. Done. That's all you do. You can do it again. Oh yeah, we are on freeze, now pull. We have to recast, always recast your third ability. Alright, now one more time, if you have Eximus unit as well. So, this is our domain, we pull in enemies, freeze time, cast our Rift Surge because it's very important, otherwise it's gonna lose a lot of damage. And sometimes it can be bugged and enemies will not get hit by your blue despite not by blue, by red, sorry, by your lens, despite them being perfectly okay. In that situation, it just happens. You just use your melee once, and you kill everything. 26 million damage, 8 million damage, works just fine. Yeah, that will be it. Thank you all for sticking around for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.